So using mental math. So the least common multiple, also known as the LCM, right, is the smallest multiple that is shared by two or more numbers. So let's look at the first example. So it's recommended in Charlie to have his tires rotated every 6 months and change the oil filter every 4 months. So if Charlie just got both the tires rotated and a new oil filter, how many more months until both will need to be done again on the same month? So what we're looking at is we're looking at the multiples of 6 and the multiples of 4. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 6, right? The multiples of 6, right? We can either multiply by the last example, right? We would go 6 times 1, and then 6 times 2, and then 6 times 3. Or we can just go ahead and go 6, right? Plus 6 would be 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. And then 24 plus 6 is 30. So that would be the multiples of 6. Multiples of 4 is 4, right? We're just adding 4. So then 8. And then 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. Plus 4 is 20. Plus 4 is 24. So now we have a pretty good list of multiples for each one. And what we're doing is we're looking for, right, the least common multiple, which is the smallest multiple that's shared between them. So let's look at the numbers. We have 6 and 4 first. Well, those aren't shared, right? And then we look at 8 and then 12. But then we have a 12 here. So we can see right here that 12 is actually going to be our least common multiple, right? So that's the LCM. And notice as we continue on, we do have other shared multiples, but it's not the least common multiple. So this is the smallest multiple, the smallest number that's shared between the two. Now let's go ahead and look at the next example. So example 2. It was recommended to Cody to clean their washing machine every 3 months and clean the dryer vent every 15 months. So if both were cleaned last month, how many more months until both will need to be cleaned again on the same month? So we're going to look at a different method. So we can use mental math by testing the multiples of the larger number. And what that means is, can it be divided by the smaller number? So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 15 and we have 3. So we're asking, can 15 be divided by 3? Then the answer is yes, because the answer would be then 5, right? And so that means the smallest multiple will be actually 15. That would be our solution. And then let me show you why. So if we look at 3, so let's go ahead and go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We're going to stop at this 5th number. So 5 right here is 15. Now that's why our least common multiple is because of this, because 15, so we're going to start off with 15, 30, 45. What do we notice? Well, 15 is our least common multiple. So it's the 5th one with the 3, right? Because we go from 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So the 5th one is 15. And we know 15 has to start off right with 15 for the multiples. And so 15 would be our least common multiple. So that's like a fun trick, is you can just go ahead and divide the number from the biggest number from the smallest number and see if that works. And then you know that would be the least common multiple, because anything less than 15 won't work, because 15's multiples start off with 15. So all these numbers are essentially a wash, right? They don't. There's no way that any of those numbers could have been a least common multiple. So there's that example. So let's go ahead and look at the last example. So example 3, Stephanie knows that the electrode holder on her welder must be checked every 5 months, and the connector must also be changed every 3 months based on the amount of welding she is doing. Stephanie just checked the holder and changed the connector. So how many more months will it be until Stephanie needs to check the electrode holder and change the connector again on the same month? So we have 5 months and we have 3. So we're looking at multiples for those two. And now we can ask, 5 divided by 3, does that work? Well, the answer is no. So the second method doesn't hold on this one. So we're just going to have to look at multiples for 3 and 5. So let's go ahead and do that. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24, and 27. We'll stop there. Now we start with 5. We can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So when we look at these two multiples of these two numbers, we notice the least common multiple that's shared between them is going to be 15. So what's our least common multiple? It's 15. So once again, we have 15 as our least common multiple between 3 and a 5 this time, rather than in the last example, right? It was a different numbers.